everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chia and happy Bookmas. In this video, I thought I could do a big unhaul of the books that I just don't want on my shelf anymore. A lot of them have different reasons. I just didn't like them or particularly vibe with them, and I just don't want them wasting space on my shelf. A lot of them I have like maybe second copies of or got a collector's edition of, and I just don't feel like I need multiple copies of this book, or some that I have decided to get rid of because I will not be continuing on with the book series, or I just want to read them on my Kindle Unlimited. So let's get started. So speaking of like unhauling books that are not books I particularly want to physically read anymore, it's gonna be a part of the Play to Prisoner series. I will be unhauling Gleam and also Gold and Glow. I'm like 50-50 on whether I want to continue with the series or not. I think I'm giving it like till the fourth book. It's just that I've heard like so many terrible reviews of like the last 3 books, and I just don't want to continue on with a series that I feel like I'm just gonna be mediocre about. I honestly think it should have ended on the 3rd book. I thought the conclusion that happened at the end of the book was perfect because one of the main storylines ended up finishing, so I don't know how they're continuing on with the last 3 books. They're on Kindle Unlimited anyways, and I just don't find the need to want to read them physically because I just don't like the way this book is formatted. It's so thick. I can't even say like everything is tiny. I just don't like the feel of it in my hands. I don't like the paperback of it, and it's not like as floppy as I wanted to. So I will be unhauling these 3 books, and if I choose to continue the series or not, I will just be reading it on my Kindle. I feel like it's easier to read on there. I think I waited way too long to continue on with the series, so we'll see how I ultimately end up feeling about it later. Next one is The Wishing Game by Mike Schaefer. I have so many thoughts about this book that are definitely not good. They're all negative, and I just didn't like my time or my experience reading this book. I didn't like the character, especially Lucy, and some of the stuff that happens I just felt personally was kind of inappropriate, especially when dealing with a kid that she wanted to adopt. And also there was like comparison to Willy Wonka and how the magical thing that happens because she ends up visiting a favorite like setting of one of her childhood favorite stories, and she ends up meeting her favorite author in this big competition, and it's supposed to go through like these trials or whatever. The trials were so boring. I thought they were so bad, and also like I said, I didn't like any of the characters, and I felt like the love story was also forced. It's one of the books that I rated 2 stars. I don't want it wasting space on my shelf. So yes, I'll be unhauling The Wishing Game. Next is A Tribute of Fire by Sarai Wilson. I didn't like my time reading this book at all. I thought it was mediocre. It's just a cookie cutter rinse and repeat romantasy. I didn't like the female main character at all, and also it was kind of boring to me, and also the male main character like barely showed up in the whole entire book, and we're supposed to believe in their love story. I just thought it was insta love. So no, I will not be continuing on with the series, and I'll be getting rid of the first book, which unfortunately I'm kind of sad about because it's an indie series and I would love to support the indie author more. I just didn't vibe with it. I'm just gonna DNF it now and just not think about it anymore and get rid of it from my shelf. Next is a recent read of mine. I'll be getting rid of Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. This is one of my most disappointing reads of the year. I cannot believe that like I didn't like it. I was so hopeful for her first adult fantasy debut, and it just wasn't it for me. The female main character just wasn't what I wanted in a female main character in an adult novel. It's very similar to her female main characters in her YA novels, and I just think that it should be different in an adult fantasy book. And also, I didn't like the storyline whatsoever. I just thought there was so many stuff that was thrown in here that I just didn't see connected to the main story. I was so disappointed because the writing is really good. I just didn't like the whole entire storyline and the characters. I love the setting of it though. The old Hollywood thing was like one of my favorites to read about, but unfortunately this was a miss for me and one of my most disappointing books of this year, so I will be getting rid of it. Next is, I picked up the Mistborn trilogy at first from Barnes & Noble as a mass market paperback, and I don't know why I did this. I didn't know why I thought that I could read this because I hate mass market paperbacks just because of how tiny they are. They don't fit the size of any of the books on my shelf. Why it didn't click in my head that it was a mass market paperback, why I decided to pick it up, I don't know. I was probably just not thinking that day, and also I don't like the covers of the American books. I prefer the UK novels because they're all sort of uniform. I just don't like the covers, so I will be getting rid of this one, but I do have the UK copies of it, so I'll be reading those. Next is 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I know I'm probably like gonna get a lot of backlash for this one. I did not like 7 Year Slip. It was so boring to me. me, and I liked the magical realism part of it, but the love story just bored me to death, and I just didn't believe in the love story. I thought it was very insta-love. I will be getting rid of this copy. I just don't particularly vibe with it. I will be giving Ashley Poston another chance. I'll probably pick up another book of hers. There was another book that came out that I feel like I would like more. It's called A Novel Love Story, I think it's called, and I will be picking that up, but I might just do like a Kindle version of it. So I'll be getting rid of this one. Next is Riftborn, the paperback copy. I have the hardcover of this book, and I also have the hardcover of Dustbound and Ascended. I personally like hardcovers better because I just like the way they look better on the shelf, and I really don't mind how I hold them when I read them. This one was like a 3 stars for me, but I heard since they're getting traditionally published, a lot of the stuff is changing here. Like the writing of it will be changing, and a lot of the character development that they said people had a problem with will be changing as well. So I can't wait to see how that's going to turn out. I'm getting rid of my paperback copy of Riftborn. Next is Sorcery of Thorns. I didn't like this book at all. I wish I picked it up when I first started my reading journey. I think I would have liked it more then, so I will be getting rid of it. It's a YA fantasy romance. It follows a character named Elizabeth who grows up in a magical library with sentient books. I thought I was going to devour that story, but the way it was executed, I absolutely despise. If you are trying to get into fantasy, I would recommend this book, but if you're like really into deep fantasy and are not really a cozy fantasy person, I don't recommend this at all, so I will be getting rid of it. Next is just some, I guess, like Christmas themed books that I just want to get rid of. I find that I'm not that big of a person on contemporary Christmas romances, and I just don't need them physically. Like this one, I gave it 2 stars to. There was like so many scenes in here that I thought was gross. It was insta-lust, and also the candy cane scene, if you know, you know, that was disgusting. That automatically gave it a 2 stars for me, and I could have just read this on Kindle Unlimited, and I just don't like it, so Unhauled. This one, I actually really enjoyed. I like the story. It was sort of like a similar Groundhog Day. I did like the romance in it also. I don't know, I just felt like it was mediocre, and I had a good time with it, but not enough to keep a physical copy of it, and I don't think I'll ever reread it, so I will be getting rid of this. And then also the Christmas Tree Farm. This is the only book I've read in the, I don't know, Dream Harbor series. It's a part of like the first book is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It was so insta-lusty, and I didn't like the fact that he kept calling her Peaches, and also every single time we were in her POV, she would compare him to Henry Cavill and how he looked like Henry Cavill, and the moment they started like having spicy scenes with each other, all of the spicy scenes were so cringy. Completely turned me off of picking up any of the other books in the Dream Harbor series, so I will be getting rid of my physical copy. Now, before anyone freaks out, I will be getting rid of this copy of Beach Read. I do have the collector's edition, so I will still have a copy of it. Beach Read is not one of my favorite Emily Henry books. It's one of my least favorite ones, but this one I'm getting rid of. I already have a hardcover of this copy, City of Lies of Legend, and I want to keep it all hardcover. I don't know how I'm going to do that now because I think she got picked up to be traditionally published, and the 4th book I haven't picked up yet because it's not a hardcover and I wanted to match the rest of my set. I don't want the paperback, so I'll be getting rid of this one. Next book I'll be unhauling is Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. I picked this up because there was a in-person book club that I used to be part of back in my old job, but I realized that the themes in this book I just might not like. It's not going to be a book for me, so I will not be reading it, and I'll be getting rid of it. I'll be getting rid of my copy of It Ends With Us. I don't think I'll ever rereading this ever again, and I'm just not in my Colleen Hoover phase anymore. I did binge this. I don't want this copy on my shelf anymore because I will not be rereading it ever again, so I will be getting rid of this. And the next is, I'm kind of scared about this because a lot of people love this book. I think it's on people's favorite book of all time. I just didn't like it. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was the first book I ever read by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I haven't picked up any of her other ones. I do want to pick up like Daisy Jones, Atmosphere, and like maybe Carrie Soto. I heard those ones are a lot better. I just didn't like the character of Evelyn. I don't mind flawed or toxic characters or morally gray characters, but I would like little redemptions for them in the end, and I just feel like she didn't. I did really like Taylor Jenkins' writing, and I do want to pick up her other books. I have a feeling that I will like her other book, and so I will be getting rid of my copy. Next 2 are just because they're paperbacks again, and I have the hardcovers, Hollow Heathens and also Bone Island. Nothing negative to say about it. I have read this one. It's really good, especially during spooky season. It's perfect setting for spooky season. It's like set in a sort of witchy haunted town, and also there's like a curse on some of the characters in here, and it's a great read. I still have yet to pick this up, so I'll be getting rid of my paperback versions because I just don't need both copies, you know? And then the last 2 I'll be getting rid of are like huge popular books that came out this year, and I will be getting rid of my copy of Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. I just didn't like the story, and it just like jumped around way too much for my liking, especially if like the main storyline is about two characters who are supposed to be in love with each other, but I didn't get that connection whatsoever. I think I would have liked it more if there was sort of like a background on how they fell in love with each other, but it didn't really show that. I do really like Laura Stevens' writing. I think it's beautiful and absolutely poetic, and there's like little poems that are interjected in between the chapters that I absolutely loved. And I do have Silver Cloak on my shelf, L.K. Stevens. I heard that's way better than like Our Infinite Fates, so this copy I will be getting rid of. It's actually really pretty. It's the Barnes & Noble copy. I thought it's pretty, but it just didn't work for me, so I will be getting rid of my copy. And then the last one, I think I talked about this book so many times and how I disliked it. Silver Elite. Don't even get me started how much I hated this book. It was a 2-star read, and I don't feel the need to keep it on my shelf any longer because I will not be continuing on with the series. Very rarely is there a first book in a series where I absolutely despise the whole entire thing. I don't have any urge to pick up the second book. I mean, it's okay anyways. It's silver edged. It's nothing spectacular about it, so I don't really care to, you know, have it anyways. And I didn't like the female main character. I didn't like the whole entire like choices that she made, and I just didn't vibe with the story at all. So this copy I will be getting rid of. That is all the books I will be unhauling. I am so happy to have room on my shelf for other books, and I can't wait to get more books in the future to fill those spaces up. Thank you all for watching, and if you made it this far, let me know what books you've unhauled recently that really didn't like vibe with you, or what reasonings you had for unhauling these books. But if you want more videos like this, like and subscribe. It really does help my channel a lot, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!